అందరికీ నమస్కారం. యుగాది అనగానే కొత్త సంవత్సరం. అందులో హ్యూస్టన్లో యుగాది వేడుగా టీసీఏ తరపున అదొక పెద్ద పండగ. ఈ సంవత్సరం మనం 7 లేక్స్ హై స్కూల్లో బ్రహ్మాండంగా నడిపించుకోపోతున్నాము. అందులో డిబేట్ కాంటెస్ట్ అనేది మేము ముందే సెలబ్రేషన్గా చేసాము. డాక్టర్ నీషా సుందరగోపాల్, myself and along with Smile Rangers Dental and VCare Trust, we collaborated with TCA to have this debate done, and it was done in a Zoom session and chala ba jarigindi dani highlights where the contest was about war and peace, and that we made it a very high effort to make sure we made a lot of discussions in Telugu, and the kids still chose to speak in English, but towards the end of the show we made everybody say a few lines in Telugu, and it all went well, and we would love to share this wonderful debate highlights with you all. Welcome to the show, the debate contest. Let's talk about peace. It's never about a war. Shall we?
To our today's debate contest with the Telugu Cultural Association. And this time the president is Mr. Ravi Gunashetty, and the whole team with Ratnakar, Snehalata Reddy and Ramya, and the past president Asajoti Javiki. We want to thank you for this opportunity from Smile Rangers Dental as well as the VCare Trust to have this beautiful Telugu associated debate with TCA. So andariki namaskaram. So Telugulo kuda manam maatladutunnamu. English is your comfortable language. We will do it in English, and you can always feel free to mix it up with Telugu also in between, so that we can also promote the language of Telugu. And if you do not know Telugu words, that's totally fine. I will also do some translation in Telugu, so that way it is more of a cultural heritage that we are going to support. Okay, so
howdy everyone. So again, as Dr. Sun kindly explained, I'm Neil Gaddy. I go to a school called Stanford Online High School, and I will be your student moderator for this event. I just want to say that Dr. Sun hosts great events, and I was really privileged to be able to attend one of her earlier events. Again, one of the debate, I think it was the debate association or competition, and it was a lot of fun. So I think I'll do a brief overview of both of the sides, war and peace, and then maybe also do some best practices for debate, especially online. I'm very familiar with the online environment, so I'll try and preface this with we're going to be online, so the debate techniques are going to be slightly different, but overall the same. So first, we'll go through war, I guess, and one of the main components of that is going to be things like economic advancement, social advancement, and the ability for new powers to be able to replace old ones. And those will be some pretty big talking points. As for peace, we'll talk about probably human flourishment, happiness, and I think peace is one of the easier ones to think of benefits for.
Peace, actually, because it will be, I'm going to put Aishu, so she's a little bit more experienced in speaking. So let me have Aishu in her category, which is the 7 to 9 and 10 category. So go ahead, Aishu, talk about peace.
Has there ever been any time in history without a war? In recent wars in the world, many people have lost their lives and millions of refugees are flying out every year to fight, which might result in injuries, harms, and even death at some points. These two words, war and peace, have completely opposite meanings. War has the effects of destroying our communities and families. Not only that, but can disrupt the development of the social and economic fabric of nations. And because of the effect of war, this can increase poverty and unemployment. But on the other side, peace simply means being in a place where no hatred and every corner is filled with love, care, and respect, where conflicts are handled peacefully, meaning that there is no hatred going on in this world. Peace can result in mental and emotional well-being, which can be a very good aspect of life. Unlike war, peace reduces violence. There is no violence where everything is filled with war. Love. I support peace because without peace, societies are often plagued by conflict, violence, and instability, which can hinder progress and result in the loss of lives and resources. How do we promote peace in today's world rather than conventional peace agreements? Treat all people with kindness, attend peace rallies, write to your government, local and federal, create a peaceful admiration or mantra. Don't engage in violence of any kind. Don't purchase weapons. Your lady Shri Kola is supporting peace 100%. Thank you.
This is an excellent presentation by the participant, Ms. Shri Kotla, and she totally supports peace and she is totally against violence. And this is an amazing speech.
Peace also makes slaves work really hard, and some slaves have to do nursing and stuff. Whenever they go to war, they do come back with injuries, but they usually, if they die, they usually get taken over there. And if they get hurt, they usually get helped over there instead of getting helped in their home. And they have less work to actually do, so they don't really have stress and other stuff.
And what about freedom? Did India get freedom after they fought the British?
Yes, they have a lot of freedom because they don't have to go under slavery anymore. They get freedom, and because basically when they have war, it's about declaring slavery, if slavery is wrong or right. And slavery is really wrong, and war really helps with to not do slavery.
Awesome. So she brought in 2 important points: ending the slavery and bringing about freedom. What do you think, Neil? These are very strong points, right?
Absolutely. Slavery is a very bad thing, and war can be a powerful tool to help end that. Great points.
And can you elaborate on freedom part, Neil, so that the kids would get to hear, and then whoever comes on to that war part can speak a little bit more?
So slavery is an incredibly powerful but also evil institution that's happened in the American past, and one of the great things that came out of the Civil War, the American Civil War, is the ability to emancipate the slaves at the end of it, which led to the end of the institution of slavery. And so that's something that shows how war can be a really pivotal tool for change, while it may be a bringer of death.
Now we're gonna introduce Anil Imadi to present his topic on peace.
Peace will give us happy and good life, where war brings loved ones to die and could cost all that to be lost. Without war, happiness would be sustainable in life. Do you really want war and lose your life, or be happy and have a good life? Resources can also get destroyed by war because people could plant bombs and shoot cannons which could destroy crops, living things, or even natural resources. War could even make pollution, and that could harm nature and even human beings. Isn't that crazy? Thanks for listening.
Well, that's good. Awesome. What do you think about it, Neil?
Absolutely. I think some of the lesser known impacts of war would be the things that famines, just because they're not as glorified in media as things like the actual killing. So I think famines and the idea of human happiness is a really good and a really valid point that I think would be interesting to flesh out a little bit more.
Awesome. So
Now let's welcome Shreyans Gandhi to speak about war, and it's a great rebut against peace.
So famine and the loss of happiness, those two are connected. So what does war have to do with famine or happiness? I mean, the only time when war brings famine or happiness is when it's a big war. But usually war is bringing change. So the change that war can bring sometimes heavily outweighs the costs of disease or murder or death on the battlefield. For example, you've got one of the most important things in our history. You've got the battle against slavery by Abraham Lincoln. What Lincoln tried to do is he had something in his mind. He knew that slavery was wrong, and he knew that like talking to the South was like he tried talking to the South and tried not to bring famine, war, any of that. But when he tried to make peace, the South shut him down and said, "No, we're gonna secede, and you're gonna have to fight us for it." And so, what choice did Lincoln have? I mean, he had to make war.
Thank you, Shreya and Skande, to speak about war, and they were excellent points. Now let's invite Miss Leah Sadhu to talk great points why war is important.
Because it can impact our world, and without wars, slavery would still be here around here. And because of slavery, the wars for slavery, slaves now had freedom and had independence.
And what about the
establishment of like new countries and new states? So I think that's a really important part, especially when you have countries with really differing political ideologies. Sometimes it's better for the country as a whole and for the human flourishment as a whole to just split off, and oftentimes that leads to a war.
Presenting Shreya Mudukuretti to present her talk points on peace.
So, peace is often associated with progress and growth. It can be a motivation for change and innovation. Peace is often more stable than war. It can provide a sense of security and stability. This will lead to feeling secure, have more friends, create new things, and grow as a group with friends. Peace is when individuals can resolve their conflicts without violence and can cooperate to enhance the quality of their lives. When there's peace, people don't have to worry about violence or fighting. They can live without fear and focus on improving their lives for themselves and their communities. This also allows them to work together and solve problems easily and create a high standard of living. This stability also encourages job opportunities and economic growth. When there's peace, people are more likely to feel secure about their jobs and daily life, which leads to a better economy. In a peaceful society, people have better access to healthcare services and can lead to a higher lifespan.
Awesome. Better society. That's a good word. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, those were some great points. I think the idea of the economic impacts of both peace and war could be something that might be a hotly debated topic at this debate, just because there's definitely both sides to that coin. So great job, Shreya. We can move on then.
Now presenting Srish Gande to talk about war.
Okay, one of the biggest benefits of war is technological and intellectual production. Let's take the mid-20th century world. During this time, many inventions that we consider valuable today, such as the microwave, along with refrigerators, were actually invented around this time, mainly due to the war in this period, which necessitated these kinds of inventions. Due to this necessity, many kinds of inventions that may not have existed prior to the war came into the world due to the necessity that the war provided. Along with this, war provides, at the very least, a temporary sense of unity. For example, let's take 19th century Europe and the nationalism that was a big movement during this time. Nationalism provided a motive for many smaller groups to coalesce into fully fledged nations, which allowed for a higher level of stability than during the peacetime, where they were all in an extremely unstable state by themselves, as they could be easily invaded. Along with this, the idea of a war consists of several different things. There is the idea of a hot war, which is where there is direct fighting and there is death. However, there's also the idea of a intellectual war and a Cold War. Cold War is more of an idea based on philosophy. For example, taking capitalism and communism, which were competing ideas in the late 20th century, and this itself necessitated many inventions, such as the Apollo missions, which allowed man to get to the moon, along with pushing the world from the gold standard to a more market-valued economy, which may not have been possible without the impetus that a Cold War provided. This market-based economy is the same economy that we use today and has shifted many of our economic systems to market valuation rather than a solid gold standard. That's my 2 cents.
It could be really challenging to support war, and I think Srish Gandhi was able to establish a strong talking point to support war. And ఇది ఎంత బాగుంది కదా, పీస్ అంటే అన్ని ప్రపంచం ప్రశాంతంగా ఉండడం, కానీ వారు ఎలా ప్రపంచానికి మంచిది అన్న మాటని ఎంత బాగా చెప్పాడో శ్రీష్ గంధే. ఇప్పుడు మనము ఈ పాయింట్ని ఎలా పీస్ పరంగా గొప్పగా అనుకోవాలి అంటూ దుషా నిమాడి మనకి ఇప్పుడు వచ్చి ప్రెసెంట్ చేయబోతున్నారు.
In order to encode messages. So one of the first computer was created by Turing, I believe, in the 40s, in response to the German Enigma, and he was able to create his automatic computer. And this was a big deal because we wouldn't be meeting here today, and our lives wouldn't be the same without that technological advancement. And those are some great points as a whole, Shrish. I like the man on the moon. We wouldn't be able to put a man on the moon without the Cold War. So, great job.
Talk for peace. Now, because Shreya was talking about war is best. Now, Dusha says peace is the best.
Sorry, Dr. Sun, your audio is cutting out really bad right now. If you want, you can just if you could just type it in text chat, maybe that'll be easier for us to hear.
Yeah, I'm able to hear all of you guys. Okay, Dusha, go ahead, talk for peace. Dusha.
You're breaking up a lot, and I can't understand you too much.
I think it was Dushan is talking about peace, if I heard that correctly.
Dushan, so talk about peace.
Absolutely, take it away.
So my name is Dushan, and I would like to explain why peace is better than war. So first off, war is something that people don't like and don't want because they could lose things that they like. For example, they could lose family, friends, or even themselves. Do you really want that to happen to you? War is just something that destroys nature, resources, and living things. It could even hurt nature by pollution, which could harm major habitats such as animals. And one thing I would like to point out is that human resources such as weapons, guns, and automated vehicles could be destroyed in war, and then they wouldn't be able to be used again. And once these automated vehicles get destroyed in war, humans can use these again, and then they would either have to pay to get these vehicles, and resources, or they would have to just fight without resources, which is not beneficial to them because we would just have more human losses, which no one wants. So in conclusion, peace is better than war because war promotes more human flourishing, economic prosperity, social harmony, and environmental sustainability. It is essential that our well-being should be cared for, not to die for. Thank you.
Excellently presented, Dushan and Madi. They were excellent points on peace.
Neil? Yeah, so from what I gathered, I noticed that he said about talking about nature. So the idea that during war, a lot of natural artifacts and natural environments can be significantly damaged. And then another point that he brought up was the idea of resources, where war can use a lot of resources, and that can be a really bad thing for the planet as a whole. In order to rebut those, I want to bring up the idea of economic advancement. So while we do use resources, those resources come from somewhere, and in order to get those resources, we pay someone to do that. And an example I'd like to bring up in history was during the Great Depression and the formation of the military industrial complex during the Great Depression. So while we did create and use a bunch of resources, created a bunch of factories, we also propped up the American economy. And I think that's a really important distinction and dichotomy that we have to place. And so we can't just analyze the use of resources. We also have to evaluate the cost and the benefit to our economy as a whole.
Awesome. So now we can have Bihan speak for peace.
My name is Bihan, and I'm going to speak about peace. Peace is better than war because peace has no violence or stuff, and no hurting. And if there were slaves just could ask nicely to not be slaves, and there wouldn't be slaves, and war didn't need to happen because it would cause so much violence, and violence would create more fights, and then more fights would create even more fights. So that's what I want to say.
Vihan, you spoke really well for a first timer. Very impressed by your talent. And you are the youngest in this panel here, and you did an amazing job. Congratulations, buddy.
Okay, while Dr. Sun figures that out, I'd like to just give a round of applause for all of our really young and very bright contestants. I know when I was y'all's age, I wouldn't even think of being brave enough to do something like this. So we could just give, from the older contestants to the younger contestants, a quick round of applause, and to the younger contestants, a pat on y'allselves back. I mean, y'all have done a great job so far. So
yeah, so I am back with Leah's laptop, so that's good that right now I can speak. So that's good. How do you feel, Neil, about so far all the contestants speaking here?
Yeah, it's been so fantastic. I just told them to while you were away to give themselves a pat on the back and a round of applause for our younger contestants, because I mean it's a really great opportunity, and it's so amazing that these kids have taken the time out of their days to come speak and learn about how to debate.
Yeah, very true. And what's the time right now? The time is around 8:30 p.m. So our actually planned time was to finish around this time, so which is to our closing end. So we want to quickly show me and Neil are gonna. Is there anybody left out without talking here? Can you just check in the group? I know one person signed up in, but they have not responded. So I will catch them later at a later date. But I think whoever is here have spoken, right?
I just took a note. I think Gopal, if that's a student.
That's Anaga. That's Anaga.
Oh, I see. Okay. Got it.
I think all of the kids here got a chance to speak, and we have recorded this whole session in 2 versions, so which is good. And so I really want to quickly have like a next 5 minutes, we will be wrapping up this session. Okay, so me and Neil are gonna show you guys how like a point of rebut, as well as what rebutting means is like when I say strong points for peace, then Neil is gonna say, no, that's not right, this is the right word, this is how it's done. So we're gonna quickly do that, show you guys how we rebutted, because this time we had everyone talk. Last time when we had the real session, it is like it was more nicer because those kids were participated in debate and there were more older kids. This time we had younger kids, so I want also Aishu to be the moderator for me and Neil today. Okay, so how about that? Do you like that? Right? So Aishu, put on your moderator hat. Okay, girl. So me and then Shrish is also gonna be the moderator. Okay, so both of you guys are gonna be the moderator, and so I am gonna talk about peace. Okay, peace is important in this world because it creates a lot of harmony. There is no loss of a life, and it brings in happiness, and there is a lot people can do together. And I think peace is something very special that's needed for the world. And if at all we think any war is coming or any war is happening, it's so important to all the kids in the future generation to stop a war. Go ahead, Neil, rebut my point.
Yeah, those were some great points. And I guess one of the things that I'd like to preface my argument with is it's important to see war not as a state of being, but more as a tool, a means to an end, if you adopt the language of some classical thinkers. So one of the ways that war can be a really powerful tool is through unity. So while you may have two clearly defined sides that clearly have a division between them, between those sides, you have a really strong sense of unity, because there's nothing more that unites people more than a shared enemy. And so I think it gives this really powerful sense of unity that I believe some of our pro-war students have touched on. And another way that war can be really important tools is as a tool for social advancement. So things like slavery, which I believe people brought up, can be a really good tool to bring about this social change and can end systemic institutions that cause lots and lots of evil and have no moral basis whatsoever. And then,
so I'm gonna rebut Neil's 2 points. Okay, so when I rebutted, so my opponent Neil had said war brings in unity, and I personally think, and many scholars think, war creates chaos and there is no unity whatsoever. I understand what he tries to say, because when people are fighting for one cause against one enemy, then yes, there is unity. But what if everybody is trying to make friendship? So there is already unity existed, so we don't have to make war. So that's the first rebuttal on that point. And then he talked about the social advancements. I think when we are united in peace, then we will be able to make more establishments, because no resources have been destroyed. I think one of the speakers did talk about resources being destroyed. I think it's Shreya who talked about resources being destroyed during war, which is highly important. So I think that I strongly oppose war. Go ahead, rebut my point, Neil.
yeah, I love this rebuttal. This is what debate is all about, civilized disagreement. So I'm glad we can have this point. So this idea of while war creates chaos, but at the same time, within the factions of the war, you'll get a new sense of unity. Because again, I'd like to bring in some papers that I've read, which was Zimmer's Situationist Guide to Evil, which this was on the opposite side, the evil side of the war. Basically, all you need to do to turn people evil or to turn people to a common cause is to isolate a common enemy, kind of dehumanize them and ostracize them. And war does just that, and it works perfectly as this tool of unity. But it does indeed bring chaos, and it does lead to a lot of the bad things that we commonly associate with war, like death and division between the two factions of the war. So I'd like to clarify that it's mainly used as, I'd say, like a tool for unity, but it's not a long-term goal. You can't survive with war.
And what about Shreya? Shrish, can you moderate both of us to see? Could you talk a few points for peace, Shrish?
Okay, so from the side of peace, mainly it generally, from what I'm seeing, peace is rather just preserves what is already there or allows for some new things to sprout. War, however, completely, from what Neil's saying, war tends to completely erase previous boundaries and creates new ones in their stead. However, without peace, they seem to be relatively unstable. Taking the example of, for example, unity that was created by war.
Awesome.
We can, for example, like take the example of Imperial Germany, which was at one point a coalition.
Oh, we're not speaking about countries. Okay, so that's good.
That is just an example.
Yeah. So Anaga wanted to say something. I just saw a text message on that. If she wanted to leave, then we are quickly wrapping up. So if you want to leave, Anaga, you can leave, but we will be quickly wrapping up. So to Aishu, so go ahead, talk a few words supporting war. Because you're being the moderator, but still want to support war. Let's see.
If we don't have war, then we can't like fight about our own things. Because if we don't think that what they're doing is right, then we should have war so that we can change our world for the better place and not leave it the way it is.
Awesome. So she says, yes, that's the change that can be brought about with the help of a war. That's just amazing. So ఈ సెషన్ మనం అందరూ ఇంగ్లీష్ లోనే చేసాము. సో తెలుగులో చెయ్యగలిగితే బాగుంటది. అందరూ మనం తెలుగోళం కాబట్టి the last ending line, I want each one of you to say something about peace in Telugu. Peace మంచిది, అందరూ ఫ్రెండ్ గా ఉండాలి, ఏదో అట్లా చెప్పండి. Okay, every one of you, go ahead. I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna just listen to you guys. Telugulo ఏదో ఒకటి. The parents can help them. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Leah. Just say peace is good. Okay, Telugu peace గా ఉండడం important. It's okay. Say that. Yeah, I'm gonna go over there. Okay? Just say it. Peace మంచిది.
Dr. Sun, you are muted right now, so I can't hear what you're saying.
One line Telugu.
I suppose I can start, and then we can go down the list. Pardon my bad Telugu. I've been told I have an accent, so East Chala Manchugandi. Okay, and then we can go down to Leah, Dushan, and then Anil.
Yeah, go ahead, Dushan cheppu. Dushan. Dushan. Okay. Oka Telugu line.
Peace మంచిది.
Good job. Okay. Now, Vihan.
Peace చాలా బాగుంది.
That's cute. Shrish.
యుద్ధం వల్ల ఐక్యమత్యం వస్తుంది.
బాగుంది. శ్రేయ.
చాలా మంచిది.
చాలా మంచిది. Okay, come on, Shreya.
శాంతి ప్రపంచాన్ని మంచి మార్గంలో ప్రభావితం చేస్తుంది.
Yeah, that's a lot of Telugu. Good job. Okay, Leah.
Peace మంచిది.
Okay. Okay, simple. What about Anil? Anil Imadi. Anil Imadi. Okay, I think he's not. Anil Imadi. Peace Manchida. Oh, చెప్పినట్టున్నాడు. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Peace Manchida kada. Peace Manchida. No worries. Peace Manchide. Okay, Aishu.
Peace Undali.
Peace Undali. Yay! That's cute. So, let me. Am I still glitching or I'm heard? Neil, thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's perfect now. I think it got a lot better. So
I don't know what that is. But anyways, so ee roju TCA tarapuna, Dr. Sun and Smile Rangers tarapuna manam chestunna ee debate. It was very interesting, very informative, and we made a difference in the community by talking about peace and war. So the new generation manam andaru kalisi undali, మంచిదే చెయ్యాలి, మంచిదే జరిపియాలి. అప్పుడే మన ప్రపంచం బ్రహ్మాండంగా, ఆనందంగా, కుతూహలంగా ఉంటది. ఓకే, even I am not native of pure Telugu, so even I will have an accent, but that's fine as long as we able to speak a little bit of Telugu. It's a beautiful world, and thank you so much for everyone being here. And Neil, you did an amazing job. See, I'm so happy that I had a moderator here today. Because what do you guys think? How did Neil was as a moderator? Thumbs up for Neil. Yay! So I would have Srish to moderate another episode with me. Okay. And what about Srish? Are you ready to moderate? I think you
Sure.
can. Yeah. See, that's the sport. And Shrish will also be in the moderator panel moving forward too, as well as with Neil. It'll be amazing. The boys will be conducting it. And you all did a great job. Thank you, everyone.
Real quick, Dr. Sun, before we go, I just want to have all the students give a round of applause for you, our amazing Dr. Sun, for organizing such a pivotal event. And I think we have all so thank you so much for that.
Okay, clap for me, guys. Okay, so this is all what you're gonna receive. Let me try to show you. Okay, so this is the medal. Suresh, I got Neil, I got you another one, so you can come and receive it on the stage. So this is the medal that you will all be receiving for your wonderful participation today. I thank each one of you for your time and your parents for this wonderful time you spent in this. It is recorded. Whatever glitch is there is going to be there, but this is the award. And you're also going to get a certificate, which we will be distributing on Sunday. And this is the certificate that you will be receiving. Okay. So this and this is all yours on the day of April 14th on the Yugadi Telugu Cultural event. And I thank TCA for giving me this opportunity to do this session with the Telugu kids. Thank you so much. So we can all leave and adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Great job, by the way.